just where it is.
What'd you like about Iceland?
Whew, oh my gosh. What didn't I like? My favorite thing that I liked about Iceland was the landscape was unlike anything here in America that I've seen. So the rocks, the formation, the plants, the trees, they don't really have many trees because the sun, for part of the year, there's just not enough sunlight to grow any trees.
Mm-hmm.
So there's very limited forests at all, but it's very volcanic and it's very like you're on another planet. Like you're seeing a landscape of rocks and low shrubbery that are not like anything here. And that was the biggest impression, that I'm like, wow, I've never seen anything like that. And so my wife and I, we went for our honeymoon. We just kept on driving and we're like, whoa, look at that. It was just so beautiful. And our favorite thing is Iceland is set up so they have, it's a circle island kind of. And so they have a ring road, a road that circles the entire island. That could take, a couple weeks if you do it well enough. And so we just rented a little mini camper van. And just,
that sounds nice.
And Iceland lets you pull over and sleep wherever you want. There's no laws that say you have to be in a specific campsite or parking lot. You just pull over to the side and crash out. And no matter where you stop, it's gorgeous. So we would just stop, and we had our own cooking utensils and gear. So we would just stop and see the ocean and just cook, and seagulls, and it was just so gorgeous.
Sounds nice.
And they had these huge more waterfalls than you can ever imagine. Like this Selengjafoss and Godafoss. Foss means falls. And it's just amazing.
I can't get over all the consonants.
Yeah, right? Reykjavik.
Or that volcano that erupted, is try to pronounce that thing. And my daughter's in Hawaii. She did the same thing, consonants everywhere. It's like one vowel, 12 consonants. It's like, how do you even say that? Okay, let me know when you're ready.
Good.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, Country Dog, City Dog, episode 18. This is, what is this again?
Internet access across urban and rural areas.
Okay, you heard it from him.
You heard it from me.
Okay, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Thanks for listening to Country Dog, City Dog. My name is Kevin Levy.
And I'm Don Merrill.
And today we're going to talk about internet access in urban and rural areas.
Yeah, the idea that, internet access isn't the same for everybody and we're all Americans is kind of hard to swallow. But I mean, in some parts of the rural landscape, the internet access is not good at all.
Right. You would definitely have more knowledge in that. You being our friendly rural friend.
Yep.
You have more knowledge on what it's like to have limited internet access.
And let me share that knowledge. So, okay, so I live in Beaver Creek. It's true, I live in Beaver Creek. My provider is BCT, which is Beaver Creek Telephone. I'm sure most people have never even heard of it.
Nope.
Right? Because it's a rural co-op. And it was put together to serve people in, the rural part of Clackamas County. It's been around for a long time. So, for example, we have Wi-Fi, but the transfer speeds are lower than for Xfinity or some of the others. Right?
Comcast?
Yeah. So that means, streaming is more of a problem. I don't know what the arrangement is where BCT is there and Comcast isn't, or Xfinity isn't. I guess you can get Xfinity and Comcast there, but I do know that I think they're more expensive. And it also has to do with whether or not the infrastructure is in place that allows higher transfer speeds, I know what that means is for the transfer speeds that we do have, if my wife and I are, we're watching Netflix, we're on the computer, using our phones or whatever, streaming is kind of a problem. Our pictures freeze or it disappears. we can't upgrade to higher speeds with BCT because it has something to do with their ability to provide higher speed. It's like the infrastructure just isn't there yet. At least it wasn't last year. Same thing with the phone service. Like I've had AT&T before I had AT&T. After I had AT&T, I had Cricket. Now I've got a different carrier, but it's just like a little sister to one of the big boys. My service is spotty. Which is why I like my landline.
Right.
I mean, I know it's kind of ridiculous.
You still have a landline.
Yeah.
Woo.
But
got rid of mine 10 years ago.
But
20 years ago.
In the city.
That's right.
But the reality, probably for a lot of people is that you see cell towers all over the place in the country, and you're like, why does this service suck so bad? And also what that means, if you use Google Voice or some other VoIP service like Skype or Zoom, Microsoft Teams, your connection's spotty there. People saying, is your mute on? And actually it's like your connection is broken. It's
man.
No, your mute's not on. They're not there anymore. And and if you use an app for like your banking or your shopping or surfing the internet, I mean, annoying. Okay, just annoying. I mean, it's not the Jurassic period out there, but it is 2023. It's just, I don't get it.
I feel being able to connect all four corners of our state with high-speed internet access can definitely be a uniter for the urban and rural folks. That when we're all connected equally, and again, this is going to take money because I know a lot of providers they won't invest into a community unless there's a large enough community for it to be profitable for them. But once we are all equally connected, then like you're saying, the communication on Skype and internet and you don't want to have slow as a snail load up speeds. You want to have that communication, whether it's information you are seeking throughout the internet or communication between your family and friends who live in the city. That is, if we can get us connected, I feel that is a great uniter in helping to heal a bumpy relationship.
Well, one of the few things that I do like about the technology is like with text messaging doesn't seem to be affected by a lot. Text messaging, it doesn't need audio, it doesn't need video, it's just,
a small wavelength just being shot out.
Yeah, and so it's like the text messaging always seems to be, pretty reliable. Pew Research, which is the organization that does a lot of the research on different aspects of American life, they said that people in the country have fewer devices. They have fewer telephones and laptops and tablets, and they also go online less than people in the city. About 1/3 of urban residents are online constantly, while only about 1 in 4 rural residents are. Now that's not true for me because I do a bunch of stuff. When the weather was especially bad, I even tried to get Kevin to do a few of these shows over the phone from my home studio, but he wasn't
I
interested.
wasn't down for that.
Yeah, I guess he just wanted to see my face or something. I don't know what it is. But the lack of broadband and high-speed internet in a rural area is a big issue. I mean, the problem has spurred a lot of state governments to take a more active role in trying to connect more rural communities to high-speed internet. Whether it's by incentivizing providers to serve rural areas, like what you were saying, Kevin, it's like, maybe they don't have enough people, but how else can they get those companies to, up their broadband game or whatever, Some states have, but see, the other thing is, less than half the states have broadband, have extensive broadband. And some states have even restricted their communities from building their own broadband networks because they say taxpayer-funded networks have an unfair advantage over private companies.
Really? Do you know the good thing about connectivity is, according to Pew Research, that rural America is rapidly becoming connected. And for example, back in 2011, only 21% of rural America owned a smartphone. Right now it's jumped to over 89%. And did you know back in 2000, only around 1% of rural America had broadband service? Now it's over 75%, which is great. Like, that is helping to connect America.
So, I used to live in Utah, and 16 communities in Utah sort of banded together to create this fiber optic network called Utopia. And, Utopia had, because, You know, I remember back in the late '90s, early '90s, mid '90s, there was this effort across the country to install fiber optic cable. Okay, so fiber